Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are talking about T-wah, which is touch wah, touch sensitive wah-wah. So normally with a wah-wah, you have to use your foot to control the kind of the opening of the filter, but with touch wah, it's sensitive to the volume that you play. So when you play very softly, you don't get much wah. But as you play a little harder, it kind of opens up the filter. Really funky little effect. I've just noticed I've got a bit of delay and a little bit of reverb on as well. You can download this as a patch called T-wah Start, so you'll have exactly these settings if you want to have a play around and use this as a starting point. But mainly in this I want to go through the parameters and explain what the different things are that you can adjust within the sound. So the first thing is we've got the mode, which is either LPF, or if we turn the knob around past halfway, it turns to BPF. So I'm assuming that BPF is band pass filter and the other one is low pass filter. So low pass filter is is controlling how low frequencies come out. So it's the wah-wah is a filter, so it's specifically affecting the low frequencies on low pass filter. If we flick that over to a band pass filter, you can hear that the sounds that are being affected are a lot higher up the chain than the LPF, the low pass filter. We've got the polar effect, and the polar effect, I've got it going up, and I pretty much nearly always have it going up. If I turn it to going down, it's not really so usable. I'm sure that there's a use for it, maybe that I just haven't discovered yet. I often find that with these kind of effects that are, you know, I always prefer a particular thing, but I just haven't had the right use for that particular polar going down idea. Sensitivity. Now this is a really important one. So sensitivity is saying how hard you have to pick to get the wah to really come out. So if we turn that right down to start off with, we're not really getting much of that wah effect. Even I think, yeah, even if I really whack it pretty hard, if I turn it up really high, now I'm playing really softly, but I'm still getting a lot of that. Now, I think kind of generally speaking, you probably don't want it too much above 80, would be a normal one. And an interesting thing again with the way that the katana is set up, if you're using the knob on the amp and you adjust the control all of the way up here, actually the highest it goes to is 80, which is a really nice thing about this particular effect. The way the Boss have set up these effects is that the knobs go to the kind of the usable ranges, which I think is a really clever thing. It enables you to just use the knobs and get a very usable sound, because you probably wouldn't want it too much higher than that anyway. So let's just back it off a little bit. We don't need it quite that high, so let's just maybe somewhere around here, 60s, late 60s. So now we can really dig in and get that kind of pokey thing. If you're going to use fingers, because I quite like using these kind of effects with the fingers. Might end up setting the sensitivity a little higher with my if I'm just doing the fingers thing. Just yeah, with a pick, it's because you got the attack from the pick, it'll kind of open up the filter a little easier than with fingers. So probably sensitivity a little higher if you're going to use use fingers rather than the pick. Now the frequency is the frequency of the filter that's opening up. So you can really hear if I just play like the frequency that's kind of getting accentuated there changes a lot if it's down low. You can really hear it, so it's kind of quite woo woo woo, quite pokey. If I move it right up the other end of the extreme. Now, again, when you're trying out these things, definitely testing the extremes is a good idea. It's kind of a bit brittle there, actually. It's much more. Now in this kind of in the middle region of it, it is, you know. Much more usable, and especially the mids. With the T-wah, middle frequencies tend to kind of cut through a little bit more. So when you're using a touch wah based around the middle frequencies, it does have that extra push there, which will help your solos cut through. The peak is kind of giving how much of a massive boost you get. Again, be careful with the really high values. Really poking that up, you know, a bit too much really for my. But if you have none, wants to be again these settings. So. It's definitely worth having a bit of an experiment. Some of the touch wah thing is going to be how you play and how hard you play. If you're a very soft player, you'll have to adjust the sensitivity differently than if you're playing really hard. Definitely, again, adjusting the sensitivity right down if you're going to... that kind of thing. And again, actually, that's a bit peaky as well. So you want to adjust it for the particular thing that you're playing, you know, and the way that you're playing stuff. Touch wah is a little bit of a tweaky one, right? You should be able to get a fairly standard kind of an effect out of it fairly quickly without having to muck around too much. But if you really want it to, you know, become an expressive tool that you can use, this is one of those effects where learning about sensitivity and the frequency and working out how you might use it in a particular tune, I think, is a really cool thing. We got here the effect level and the direct mix are the only other two controls that we've got down here. The direct mix, you probably don't want having the direct sound, like without the unaffected sound. If we turn that right up, it's just overtaking the fact that we've got it, even if we make it even Stevens. The straight signal is overpowering the affected one. Okay, so you're probably almost certainly going to have the direct mix off. I can't think of a reason why I might want to have the direct mix up in a case like that, but there may be possibilities where that works properly. I hope you've enjoyed this little video and that you understand all the parameters now and that it helps you explore your creative use of the touch wah. It's a really cool effect, one of my favorites. I had a bit of a problem trying to make this video because I kept on getting into it and just going off and exploring my own thing, and you know, such a cool sounding thing, you know, and there's so many different ways of, you know, exploring it and having fun. Works great with distortion too. I've just mainly been doing this on a clean thing, but definitely adding a bit of crunch, maybe not like heavy metal effect. Well, it probably works, just it's not my thing, so I haven't explored it so much. But the really important thing here is to be enjoying playing the guitar. So just experiment, muck around with the different settings and have some fun with it. I'll see you for plenty more very soon. Do check out the website where you can download the patches and get plenty more advice on using your Katana amplifier. Later. Bye-bye.
Bye.